Hello, SNA assassinators. Yeah, I don't know why it just went out on me like that. I didn't even pass my limit of doing the review video yet. But yeah, I'm back here on the second clip of the SNA podcast of the go home edition of AEW Collision hours before AEW All In, which is going to be their biggest pay per view of the year in 2024. I can already guess that this is definitely going to be the biggest event that they're going to have. And let's get into what we were talking about before we got interrupted by my webcam here. This is where Chris Jericho again looking on the camera saying, like, "Hey guys," and this is where we got Big Bill and was punishing the second generation wrestler, like, and even driven him right onto the announce table. This is where the referee was counting. This is where Big Bill think he was. This is where until like Big Bill then hit a big body slam. This is where he hits an elbow drop. This is where he hits, I believe, a second consecutive one. But when they try to go for a pin, Hook still immediately kicked out of it at 2.1. And this is where it was like, it was just 2. And this is where Big Bill was like, yeah, don't remind me. This is where he didn't try to pick up Hook, but he was like, nah, I have a better idea. This is where he didn't try to go for a big elbow. Third time's the charm, which it wasn't like the last 2 that he hit. This is where he tried to run up right onto the cold-hearted, handsome Tasmanian devil. This is where he elbow strikes him right to the face. He goes right into the. This is where then he goes grab onto the ropes when what's his name Big Bill to try to go for a big boot, but this is where he landed right over the top rope, right into the bottom corner ringside area. This is where Big Bill tried to come back in the ring. This is where then we got Bill try to go for spot, but he gets end up with a big hit right into the face on the top ring post. This is where we got hooked and go try to run right towards Big Bill, but he tripped right over. I think he fainted. This is where then Hook then try to get himself right back up. This is where Hook then went up right on top of him, started hitting him with some right hands immediately. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 to be the exact. This is where the referee's like, all right, enough. Like 1, 2, 3, 4. And this is where he's like, you got to listen to what I tell you to stop. And then this is where Hook was like, all right, like I'm listening. This is where we got Big Bill and try to go for a clothesline, but Hook ducks out of it. He ducks out of the back fist. Hooked into the left side. This is where it's a flying clothesline onto the big man. This is where we got hooked and goes for a wrist lock into an exploder suplex. That's where we got hooked and Hook was like, yeah, like let's go, like time for the red room. This is where we saw Hook still had a black tape to patch up his eye, like to sell the injury of getting burned by Jericho's fireball that he got out of nowhere. That he threw it right out of nowhere. This is where we got what's his name? Bad Apple Brian Keith come in with, but the referee was distracted with Big Bill. That's where Hook then sent him right back on the outside with an exploder suplex. But once he got him out of there, this is where he had Big Bill to worry about because he grabbed him around his neck. This is where he was about to choke slam him, but before he can even send him to hell, with him, got him up like about 7 feet in the air, or 8 feet in the air. This is where we got hooked and flipped right out of it, pushing him right to the bottom corner. This is where he goes to the the bottom corner. This is where he goes to the upper right side. This is where Big Bill tried to go for a running attack move, but he made a huge mistake of not knowing what move to hit him in particular. This is where he kicked him right in the face, but this is where he goes for a discus slap right into the head. This is where we got Big Bill and grabbing onto the head, onto the current FTW champion. Is where he licked his hand. Is where it looked like he's about to chop it, but this is where Hook luckily jumped right onto his neck, right on his back and right onto his neck. Try to go for the red rum right onto the 7-footer. This is where he was like, let go, like I'm not tapping, but this is where he had nowhere else to go but to hit him with let's go straight into the ground. He made him faint. He got the win by submission. And this is where he's like, okay, I took down 2 of your boys. Now it's you, Professor Jericho, because that FTW championship is going back around my waist. And Chris Jericho's like, no, this world championship is going to stay you're gonna stay by the hands of your teacher and learning tree, like Jay Lethal versus Katsuyori Shibata, but in their own way. But this is where fans start chanting, ole, 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 ole. And I was like, I was saying, like, don't they realize Sami Zayn's not on AEW? And this is where then we got Arya Davari just started the style and profiling walk. I'm like, I don't know if you should be doing that if I were you. This is where he's about to do the peace sign, but this is where luckily we got Jeff Jarrett hits him with a right hand. This is where he's like, that's not how you do it anyway. This is where he hits him with a European uppercut. This is where he hits the face right into the bottom turnbuckle, then bottom left, bottom right. This is where he sent him in the upper right, went upper, and then this is where the last turnbuckle he went to was at the top left. This is where the Jeff Jarrett then sent Arya Davari face first right into the ground. This is where he's like and Jeff Jarrett, he's like good old Double J here is going to show you how it's done. But first, I got another move in mind I want to do to Arya. This is where they throw him in the right side, and this will try to get ready to hit him with a big, devastating clothesline. Smart enough from Arya Davari. He hangs onto the ropes, slides right underneath the ring, and then went right into the ringside area. He was like, "No, like I think I'm good," and I was like, "I don't blame him on that one." And when fans like, "Oh, let's go, Jeff Jarrett. I gotta go, Jeff Jarrett." I'm like, that is where. This is where then Jeff Jarrett's like, oh, you want me to do it now? This is where he's like, okay, like since he's cowardly enough to come in the ring, this is where he was giving